Sciatica pain can be a terrible disorder to experience. It can limit your ability to walk upright. It can limit your ability to stand from a chair without excruciating pain. It can limit your daily activities at home to your work activities. In this video, we're going to give you some of the best exercises to give quick relief from sciatic pain, and we're going to talk about how to maintain your relief once you achieve it. Let's dive into the video and take a look. Well, welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Mauro. I'm your host, Mauro Burnett. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a board-certified orthopedic specialist in physical therapy and the owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialist, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. For today's video, we're going to look at sciatica pain. We're going to define sciatica pain. We're going to then get into some of the best research-proven exercises to give you relief from sciatica pain. And then one thing that we're going to do that I haven't done in any previous video is we're going to take a moment and talk about how to maintain your improvement once you achieve it. But first, let's get into defining sciatica. Sciatica refers to a pain that travels down the sciatic nerve. Sciatic nerve exits the lower back, goes through the buttock, down into the leg, and can go all the way down to the calf or to the foot. Oftentimes, the sciatic nerve pain is caused by a herniated disc. According to Mayo Clinic, this is pretty common. There's about 3 million cases of sciatica reported every year in the United States. I've got my spine model here. And on the spine model, I've got an image here of a herniated disc. If the disc is bulging or herniated and it pushes into this nerve, it can easily irritate this nerve and cause a pain that travels down the leg into the buttocks and very easily, like I said, could go into the calf or the foot. So in this video, we're going to go over some great exercises that were invented by a very famous therapist from New Zealand, Robin McKenzie. Robin McKenzie in the 50s discovered by chance a great extension exercise for the right person at the right time that can very quickly give you relief from your sciatic pain. McKenzie defined two terms. One term he called centralization, and by that, this is what he meant. If the pain was traveling down the leg and you did his exercise and it worked well, the pain would begin to recede from the leg and travel back to its origin. That's what he would call centralization. If the pain became worse, the pain would travel further down the leg, and that's what he would call peripheralization. So the intent of this exercise is twofold. One, we want to centralize the symptoms and get it out of the leg. Number two is we want to be able to recreate that natural curve of your lower back, the lordosis. The lordosis is super important. When you're having sciatica pain, you're having severe back pain, oftentimes you might find yourself kind of hunched forward and very difficult to sit upright. So as we do these exercises and it gives you some relief, hopefully we're going to be able to get you back into that better lordosis. So let's get into our first exercise on centralization for sciatica. Exercise number 1 is going to be lying on your stomach. You could do this on your bed at home. You could do this on a yoga mat. But you want to get on your stomach, rest your arms by your side, and then the idea is you want to relax your lower back muscles. If this is too painful, you could start with a pillow under your stomach. But otherwise, you get on your stomach, lie there, belly down, let your muscles relax, and you're going to hold that for 2 to 3 minutes. Now we're ready for exercise number 2. For exercise number 2, we're going to then prop onto your elbows. Again, think about letting your back muscles relax, let your stomach sink down into the table, and we would hold this position for 3 or 4 minutes. Both of these exercises are going to prepare us for exercise number 3. Exercise number 3 is going to be a prone press up. You're laying on your stomach, you press up, your upper half goes up, your lower half stays down. It's very important that when you do this, that the lower half stays connected to your surface if it's your bed or the floor. Sometimes you can even take a belt and kind of strap it around you and maybe an ironing board to hold that down. Or you could have a family member or friend press down on your lower back to keep it down while you're doing your prone press up. You would do about 10 reps, and then at this point, you would get back up and reassess your sciatica or your leg pain. If you now notice that your leg pain is worse, right, then we might have to change some things. But if you notice that the leg pain is substantially better, then we just found a great exercise that you could try. If this proves successful, what McKenzie would recommend is you could do this about every 2 hours for a couple days to see if you're getting some relief. I would try it for at least 2 or 3 days, as long as you're not getting any bad side effects. If it's causing excruciating pain, or it's not going well, or it's peripheralizing or getting worse, then maybe this isn't the right exercise. But if you find this helpful, follow it out until you start feeling better. Now, let's get into our next phase. Let's say you've done the 3 exercises, 3 or 4 days have gone by, and your pain is really starting to reduce. In this situation, what we could do now is a standing back extension exercise where you put your hands into your back and then you extend back from the standing position. I'm kind of doing it in the seated posture, but that's how it would look. You could do 10 reps of that in lieu of the lying down prone press up. So if you responded well to the first 3 exercises, after 3 or 4 days, now what you could do is you could skip exercise 1, laying on your stomach, and exercise 2, propped on your elbows, and you could go straight into the prone press up and the standing extension exercise. Standing extension exercise can be nice because you don't have to lie down if you're out somewhere. So if you've been doing prolonged sitting or been doing bending forward activities for a while and you notice your stiffness and your pain starting to come back, hit it with 10 reps of that standing extension exercise, and that can be a great way to keep that pain at bay. Now we're going to get into our final exercise, which is an exercise to help you maintain your improvement once you achieved it. Let's get into a final exercise. For our last exercise, we're going to go over a great technique where we can help find the natural curve of your lower back, or the lordosis. We want to find the perfect position, the perfect lordosis, so that we can take stress off of your back and keep stress off of your back. I've got my spine model here, and we can see in the spine that we've got these 3 curves, right? We've got this curve here, we've got a curve here, and we should have a nice curve here in the lower back. If the pain has been pretty excruciating lately, your muscles have been very tight, oftentimes you'll find that your back will flatten and you'll lose a little bit of this low back curve. The low back curve, or lordotic curve, is super important for keeping you out of pain. You'll notice as you get better at finding this natural lordotic curve, your pain is going to decrease as your lordosis improves. The exercises we did earlier, we mentioned they're twofold purposes, right? One is to centralize the pain, but the second one is to decrease your pain so that you can get your curve back. In McKenzie's book, he talks about how you can do all these great things to give yourself some relief, but if you go during your day sitting with really bad lower back postures, guess what? Your pain's probably going to come back pretty quick. So if you look at your house, where do you normally sit? Can you put some throw pillows back there and give yourself a little more of a lordosis? Or your office chair, your car chair. We have to think about these things for at least a few weeks after you've gone through this terrible episode of sciatica. If you can really be conscious about keeping the perfect low back posture, can greatly enhance and keep your improvements. So let's go over this little technique. One way we can do this is if I let myself slouch back all the way onto my butt bones, that's one extreme. And then if I arch all the way off my butt bones, that's another extreme. And then what you want to do is find a nice halfway position. The halfway position, you feel better in that position. You can feel your deep abs kick on. That's the position where your back's at its strongest, your core muscles are on the best, the least amount of pressure on your discs and joints. What I would recommend is try this 5 or 6 times as an exercise. Gently go in one extreme, carefully go in the other, and then settle into that nice neutral position. If the exercise is painful, then don't push it too much, but just go with the idea of trying to find that nice neutral position. Maybe you try it 5 or 6 times, and I would practice this 2 or 3 times a day so that you're consciously aware of where your low back posture is during your workday. Well, thanks for watching today's video on sciatica pain relief. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some great tips out of it. Remember, you could always like the video or subscribe to our channel to receive more videos like this in the future on physiotherapy related tips. It's goodbye for now, and we're going to see you next time on Physio Tips with Mauro.